I'm already getting trolled. It's been on for 10 seconds. Oh, God.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, hi. Thanks
Hi.
for taking the time out of TikTok to come and speak to us.
Yeah, I have a very busy schedule these days.
How many TikToks have you made today?
Only two. No, three. One go up.
For goodness sake, how are you?
Oh, not bad. Do you know what? I just had a moment of panic then because I didn't think to I've literally just ate my food and I didn't think to look in the mirror and then I just saw that little bubble. I was like, oh shit, you've got ketchup around your mouth.
Well, I just got sick in my mouth while I was training because I ate too close to squats. So you live and learn, don't you?
To train. That's the main thing.
Disgusting, honestly. But you know, I hate training when I feel hungry. That's all I can think about while I'm training, and then I get in my own head about my strength, as if it makes a difference. So,
Off the second I start.
you what?
I could be starving before a session, but as soon as I start training, I forget.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not training hard enough then. With my long ass rest periods.
Yeah, I'm sitting a powerlifter now.
Oh God, don't. I still don't have my program. I did actually just send you my rehab program.
I'm watching this.
My physio thinks I should train calves.
I know.
I need a new physio.
When was the last time you trained calves?
I've never trained calves. I do, maybe I've done it 4 times, but they get hit on all the other exercises, especially leg press. That's calves for me.
I'll say, mate, you want to do TikTok all that time prancing around on the balls of your feet? It's great for you calves.
I cannot tell you how I will never ever download TikTok. I would lose my job. That's all I would do.
You're just right. I've lost my sanity, my dignity.
I hope that it's not detracting from your work, Laura. Okay. How is it all going in the lockdown now?
Good. It's to be honest, I'm pretty unimpacted on the. Just got a text message from my coach who's watching this saying, just a heads up, you've got food in your teeth and you can see your dildo in the background.
Me?
Everyone.
Is he talking to me?
Yeah,
I hid those.
Hey, well, send your message in there. But
he's actually told me he's training while he is listening to us. I can't think of a worse training session than listening to us two talk.
Motivational quotes to spur him on,
yeah,
you know, I can't think of any now off the top of my head.
Yeah. We're not very motivating people, that's why. So you're saying that your coaching hasn't really been impacted? That's amazing.
No, it's if anything, I've got a little bit busier because I think people want some accountability. So clients that finished a little while back have come back to just basically, it's not even like we're doing anything crazy like dieting. It's just a bit of structure and some sort of normality and amongst all the chaos of not having been right now.
Did you have many girls on prep when the lockdown started?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I capped the number of athletes I take on anyway, but I think I had 14 that were
prepped.
Wow.
Have they all just fallen to pieces like me, or am I the only one?
To be honest, everybody's just kind of, with the exception of Bailey, who's just joined, who's based in the States. So her show calendar is obviously a little bit different. Cruising now. So depending on how body fat people had to lose, what they want to just generally look like for life, like if they were top end of the off season, they were thinking of bringing that down anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be honest, I haven't really got anybody that's dieting aggressively at the moment because we just don't know. So there's no. Yeah.
Well, I like what PCA released today, actually. I think it's the most realistic
I haven't seen
approach. They just said when gyms reopen, they'll then have 10 weeks until the first show.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, so this gives people enough time to prep, right? And then decide if you want to even compete this year. Like, for me personally, I just think if it's not worlds, there's no point because that's my goal. So it just gives me more time to grow, because I don't think Worlds is going to happen this year. I think they'll still do some regionals and some finals if they can, but I don't really. I think I'd rather grow.
Yeah, I
Smash Worlds.
like if your goal is to do the best you can at Worlds, why would you waste time potentially building?
Exactly. We were really fortunate though, weren't we? Because we were lean enough to see my weaknesses.
Yeah.
I mean, where did my bum go? Like, that didn't happen last time. So yeah, no, I think it's good that we've been able to strip back, and I've just been trying to keep that mentality. Like I was fortunate to have got so far in, because now I know what I need to work on. I was talking to one of the first timers today, and she literally almost completed her prep for it to be cancelled, and was just saying she doesn't know what to do this year. And I was like, you just have to wait and see what happens, you know.
Yeah. The thing is that only like it's frustrating, like honestly, like my heart goes out to anybody that was that close to a show and did that much, but the only thing you get like with time is better, like whatever.
I'm getting trolled so badly in the comments, it's unbelievable.
I think buy some extra. Yeah, you haven't got enough equipment, Martina.
So myself and Natalie Moncrief, Natty Dreadlock, we obviously have a lot of equipment. Yeah. We spur each other on. We'll literally send a message like, mate, shall I get this 500 kilo kettlebell? And the other one will be like, yeah. But then Jodie Deland literally phoned me and said, look, shall I get this or shall I get that? And I'm like, get all of it. So now she's joined the club. But to be honest, I just can't see the gyms opening. Oh my god, look at my cats fighting in the background. Yeah, the gyms, when they reopen, I don't even want to go, because it will be worse than January. It will be so busy.
Well,
I can only go after work or before work. I mean, but it's peak. There's no way I'm going in that. So yeah,
but that's the thing, it's that I assume they're not going to just reopen to full capacity anyway.
No, there's going to have to be some kind of staggered. I don't know how they'll operate it, to be honest, because when social distancing was in place before the lockdown, it said like 2 meters apart, and there's just people literally standing on you in the weight section, you know. They shut every other machine down, but in the free weights, it's a free for all. Like,
bodybuilders, there's going to be a queue for that mirror with the good lighting.
We have to create our own good lighting. I've bought a salt lamp. That's not just for effect, that is for delts. How's your training going?
Good. It's because I managed to get myself a little bit kit, so I've got an Olympic bar, 2 20-kilo plates, and I bought myself, I don't know if you've seen them on my story, the biggest set of dumbbells you've ever seen in your life. They weigh like 15 kilos each total.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like, you know, in Little Britain, that sketch when the guy passes the stuff over the desk and it gets I film my home workout. I was like, you can't even post this because it looks like a joke, like these big.
But you've seen my kettlebell, right? I didn't know that vinyl kettlebells were so big, and when I turned up, I was like, oh. I can't press it over my head because I can't hold it properly because it's so big. But at least I've got one, and it does what I needed it for. I wanted to do kettlebell swings for my glutes. Fine.
Yeah. Because before I got the dumbbells and the bar, I was using jerry cans because so I just bought these 2 like 20-litre jerry cans off of Amazon and was them for a bit, but just make do.
Yeah, I think that now people are starting to realise that they do need to invest in a little bit of kit if they want to keep training for this long. Yeah. But you really, as you said, I honestly don't think you need more than 40, 50, 60 kilos to be able to get a really decent workout in.
Yeah, as long as you're clever with like rep ranges, time under tension. Yeah. It's like banding certain exercises, like really like now is a perfect time to practice form.
Yeah.
Like, after over time you start loading things up. Like my squats come on loads in terms of like my squat form and stuff like that now. So if people get that up to scratch now, when you get in the gym and put load on that, it's gonna be
for sure. I have struggled to train at home, to be honest, even with all the equipment. It's just my flat's so small. When the weather's good, great. But when the weather's rubbish, I've got to train in my living room. It's so tiny. And these cats are going to kill me, I swear. One of us is going to kill each other.
The fact when you send me a check-in and you're like Shut up.
Oh my God. When I'm on prep, I'm surprised I've still got them because they're like 12 and a half now. And this will be my 4th prep. How I've not killed them yet, I don't know. Right, stop it. Because he just wants to sit on my lap because he's a fat shit. Anyway, I'll tell you the first question and you will laugh. Who is your most annoying client, Helen or Martina?
Do you want me to answer it honestly?
I know it's me. Yeah. Helen's way more laid back than me. I think that we're both a bit guilty of not using you properly. So it's our own fault.
Who asked that question? Helen?
Helen, of course, yeah. We have to have a word with each other. Like now, obviously, we're still meant to be checking in, and then sometimes we don't. I mean, I swear to God, for the first few weeks I didn't check in. It's because I forgot what day it was. And then all of a sudden it was the wrong day. And it was like, well, I can't check in now because it's not my day. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll just go and have pizza. Be fine. But actually, I've been quite surprised. I mean, and I think we've both been surprised at how my physique held for so long without doing anything. So it just goes to show that even if you don't have that much, if you can keep your nutrition tighter, you won't go too far off the goal. Because I mean, I'm not saying my nutrition's good because it's not perfect, but the first maybe 4 weeks I still counted my macros. I was still quite controlled, and it's only in the last couple of weeks I've given myself a little break.
I think the thing, after working together for so long and just yourself, like 4 years of competing, your habits change, your behaviors change. You don't need to be putting stuff into MyFitnessPal to know what you should be. You don't need to be checking.
That's exactly it. I always know. I try and just mentally, if I'm not counting, just know how much protein I've had that day, and it's going to be within 20 grams probably that I can eyeball it for, because I always eat the same kind of things anyway, right? That's how it's easy for people to, I hate the words intuitive eat because that is just eating, but it is like being more mindful, I suppose, to make sure you are eating enough protein, that you are not going too crazy on the calories if you're trying to stay at maintenance. But yeah, I think my natural appetite straight after a prep is maintenance, and I've just come off prep, so it's only further down the line that my appetite gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But that is what I liked about you. And when we was like talking about you coaching me or something, it was like we lead quite a similar lifestyle. Like we both have a good balance in the off season. I really needed a coach that would understand that I still like to eat out a lot. I actually drink quite a lot of alcohol. Because I know a lot of fitness people just don't, and I know that you like a drink and a pizza and a dance, like you've got good balance, and you're like quite straight talking, and I need that. I couldn't have a coach that I didn't think would tell me I'm not ready, for example, because some coaches just send those girls up on stage, and I can't imagine what it must feel like when you are standing backstage and you're looking around thinking, I don't look like this, like the other girls. All my aim has ever been when I get to a show is to just not embarrass myself in the way that I'm not the one people are going, she didn't diet, did she? Or she doesn't train, which might have been my first show, to be honest.
Coaches are afraid to tell people they might need a little longer as well from the offset. So if somebody says, I've never competed before, I'm not going to just slap them on a 12-week prep. Like, your first prep sounds extreme when I say things like 20 weeks, stuff like that, but that's not 20 weeks chicken and broccoli. That's calories down, some diet breaks, allowing for a bit, because if you've never done it before, but that's why I think you see people step on the stage not in condition, because the coach hasn't managed that expectation from the outset, maybe.
I think also some of them, like, I'm obviously very honest with you when I've gone off plan or I'm ill or I haven't, whatever it is. Some people just don't tell their coach because they want to impress them, or or they're scared of them, or they know that they haven't done what they're meant to do, so they don't want to admit it. And it's like, you're only cheating yourself if you don't fess up, because all you're going to do is think, okay, well, this isn't working, we'll be more aggressive. And then it's even harder, because usually the reason you've gone off plan is because you are starving. Because you are hungry in prep. Like, there's no two ways about it. No matter how you prep, meal plan, macros, calories, you're going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And that is what would lead me to go off plan. It's just that I was starving and I was unprepared. So that someone's actually asked a question saying how to stop snacking while you're working long hours in a corporate job. Now, I have that job. I work in an office, and all it is to be prepared, isn't it? Meal prep, have it with you. I'm that person with boiled eggs in my handbag in foil. I've been searched by the police before in Canary Wharf because they're quite really high on security there, and I've had eggs in my bag.
I got you.
What are the tips that you would give to someone like that who's looking? So obviously I'm used to meal prepping because of prep. I'm not sure that this person has ever competed, actually. I think it's just one of my followers that I don't know why she follows me.
It's this stigma around snacking. Like, if you like to eat smaller meals and snack and that fits within your total calories for the day, cool. Like, pre-planning some snacks, like even stuff like, don't, if you are, I'm going to assume this person's dieting, which is why they want to stop, but even things like planning ahead, like you said, maybe not boiled eggs in your handbag, you know, you can pick something a bit less
smelly. Don't knock them.
But like, again, at the moment, obviously things are a little bit different, so I'm going to assume we're in like the normal world.
Yeah.
But check in your environment, like where you work, what shops are around, what options are available to you, what are your like go-tos, do you know what I mean? So if you walk past the shop every day, remove the thought process. Like, if you are trying to diet, I think the less decisions you can make, it's important to be, if you've got a coach that kind of can educate you in how to make calorie swaps and track macros and that kind of stuff, so that you know if there is something you're really like craving, you can switch things in and out.
Yeah.
But like, don't put yourself in a position where you're in the supermarket really, really hungry. Just know, right, that's my thing that I grab and I go. Or, you know, if you don't actually want to snack, make sure that your meals are foods that are going to satiate you. Like, you know, don't eat a flipping low calorie noodle thing. This is with no protein and maybe no fats, and expect it to last you all afternoon, because it won't. Starving. And that's one of the biggest things I think I see, quite common one when people come for coaching, is they're like, oh, you know, I'm so good all day, and then I get home from work and I just go through all the cupboards, and it's like, what chicken salad? I'm like, that's why you cupboards.
I'm so shocked at what my colleagues eat for lunch, and they think it's enough for the day, and I'm just like, wow, like you've eaten, actually, since we've been in the office for 8 hours, something that I would have for one meal. And, you know, like, even dieting, when I'm prepping, they just can't believe how much food that I eat. But obviously I'm clever about what I'm eating, and it's high volume, but it is lower calorie and high protein. It's lean, you know, and I split it into smaller meals throughout the day, not because it's some magic formula to fat loss. It just stops me being starving if I'm just plugging the gap every now and then.
Yeah, I think you get to a certain point of prep where like normal dieting, the other thing I would say is that if you struggle to stick to it, bring calories up a bit, slow down the pace of the diet, because I always stand by my statement that dieting is a skill to some extent, handling skill to some extent. And I think once you've done, you know, once your body fat levels are that low, your body's going to be signaling you to eat all the time. It is just, you're just hungry. It's keeping you out the danger zone, isn't it, most of the time?
Yeah. But that's why I use low calorie soft drinks or coffee, black coffee. It's legitimately a food source for me in the mornings, because I intermittent fast. So I'll have probably 3 or 4 coffees before I eat. And Monster, I know that people that don't compete, they think we have it for the caffeine, but actually they don't realize that's just one little part of it. Mostly I drink Monster because it fills my stomach up, because it's a big can.
I like,
and it's sweet.
Cravings,
I actually, so if I drink Diet Coke, it makes me hungry. I don't know why. So I have to stay away from Diet Coke, and then welcome Monster into my life wholeheartedly, because it's so damn delicious as well. I think that's another thing. People choose to diet on foods that they don't particularly enjoy because they're good foods, when actually if you just have a little bit of what you fancy instead of a lot, and you can fit that in around the other foods that are lower calorie, you're going to be much happier mentally, as well as able to stick to the diet. Oh my God, my cat just bit my elbow. What are you doing? Why?
Very true.
What else was I going to say? Oh, in the off season, I still meal prep. So I actually don't count calories in the off season at all. I kind of roughly know what I'm having because I've been doing it for so long. But I do meal prep just because I work in an office in central London and it's bloody expensive to go and buy your food for lunch. Say I go to Pret a Manger, I have to spend 20 quid, 15 quid a day. That's just for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably eat 3 times while I'm at work. So it's just cheaper, but it means that I'm eating a lot because I get those Gusto boxes, a lot of single ingredient whole foods that just taste delicious because they've given me recipes that I would never think to do of myself. Like I have curry every single day, you know, like obviously a small portion, but it really does hit the spot. And I really found this prep, I didn't crave a single thing because I've been eating all of it all year.
Do you know what? That's one of the biggest things I think is people coming off the back of a show first diet. Get as much variety in your diet as soon as you can, because I think this is where I've seen in the past people get into issues with like binging. It's because they're trying to eat the same foods that they were eating throughout prep, but, you know, with that meal now instead of just veg, or they, you know, instead of 30 grams of oats, they're having 50 grams of oats. But actually, you know, your show's gone, your hormones are all out of whack, your body's devoid of nutrients, and you still increase. It's not just calories your body needs at that point, it's nutrients. So getting variety in the diet will not only keep you mentally sane, but no wonder people are reaching for like the junk foods and stuff like that and having issues with binging, because who wants to carry on eating like that after the show's done? Like,
do you have many girls that reverse? Because obviously I don't reverse. I just go straight up to eating whatever I want. So sometimes that might be maintenance, it might be a surplus. Some days it's nothing, you know. Because
I think with reversing, there's this common misconception that it's a trickle up in calories from wherever you ended your prep, and it's not. The thing I do is get somebody back to, and it depends how lean someone is when they step on. Somebody like yourself, straight away, I would want to put you at least your maintenance, because prep macros would have been diet macros. That's not your old off-season maintenance, that's your new maintenance. Surplus, because we need to get some body fat back on you. Because, and this kind of ties in actually to you can answer this, a question that I had about the question was, what's it like after doing a show to know you have to gain weight and fat? Because I think, you know, it's so watching that hasn't competed before, and that body, you can't keep that. That's your show. I say it's like it's friggin' amazing. Enjoy it while it lasts, take lots of pictures, have a great time with it, but you can't live there because you're going to run out of money.
No, I just think like, so for me personally, after my very first show, I didn't have much muscle mass at all. I dieted into that show and I rebounded massively because I was basically doing fish and a rice cake diet. I had a bodybuilder bro coach who I literally, my fat, oh God, I used to eat for a meal 200 grams of fish, 2 spoons of sweet potato, just plain, and asparagus, like 7 spears of asparagus, and then my fat for the whole day was 20 almonds. I did that for 5 weeks. I used to faint all the time. I used to just think it was normal and just carry on doing my cardio. It was ridiculous. So after that coach, who didn't support me after this show, I had a year-long binge, really. I got quite fat for my frame. So although I was, my dress size wasn't massive, my body's very narrow and I'm quite compact. And I've never, ever had additional body fat before because I'm quite a skinny person. I really struggled to keep the mass on me. But every year, my off season, I look more and more athletic, even at a higher body fat, because I've got more and more muscle mass. So you just need to, if you don't want to look soft or watery or whatever, you're always going to look watery. But if you want to look more athletic, you have to compete with enough muscle first. And I think that actually now the girls that are first timers, they are holding a lot more muscle when they start. And I think that they will look, well, it depends on how they dieted, to be honest, isn't it? Because if you just cut everything out forever, you'll binge. Whereas I do count my macros until like maybe 6 weeks out, 4 weeks out, and then I go onto a meal plan. And that's the only time that I think I'm missing out on the food I like. But it is still the food I like, just much smaller portions.
I think that's like when you get, that's the other thing I would say, is that I'm not one of these coaches actually that gives meal plans a bad rap. Like I usually know with most of my athletes from 4 weeks out. The main reason being, number one, it removes the thought process for you. Number two, it means that things like refeeds and stuff like that, we can see how you're looking, we can make it predictable, we know you digest it well, so then by the time show day, it's easy, we know what we're doing, we know what you look good on, we don't need to change anything, we just need to make sure you're having the right amount at the right time, so on for show day. But there is an element of me as well, and I would say, if I'm going to sound like a bitch now, but I don't care, I'm just going to say it. There are some people that preach flexible dieting and they step on stage not looking that great. And I'm not saying
I just don't think that you need to take the variables out for the final few weeks so that you know exactly what you're going to look like. I mean, I've had preps where I've had grenade bars in peak week, you know, and I wasn't that lean. I did win, but I didn't look my best. Whereas last time, I mean, you wrote me a meal plan on what I actually eat anyway, which is why I could stick to it. But obviously it just took out all of the things that made me bloat, you know, because that's really, I look a lot fatter when I'm bloating, and I bloat a lot. So it's only in those final 4 weeks on the meal plan that I really sucked in, didn't I? Because it just took out all the irritation in my stomach.
When somebody is that lean, like that low levels of body fat, there is a difference. You can see if somebody is eating. The other reason I put someone on a meal plan is that calories are that low. I want to make sure that they're getting nutrients in at that point. Well, you don't want to be flexible at that point, because not only is it going to be harder to stick to, but again, it's like if you've got less money in your bank account, you've got to make sure your bills are paid first.
I think it's a really good point, actually, because if you're on macros, it doesn't mean that you understand nutrition. So you could be filling your macros with food that, you're hitting your carbs, for example, but those carbs are not fueling you properly because they're coming from, and I'm not going to lie, I did do this for a refeed, just chocolate. and it does make a difference, you know, to your energy levels when you're in prep. You really do have to try and fuel yourself. That is, your food is your fuel. But if you don't understand nutrition properly and you've just been given macros, you're going to be eating stuff that's not benefiting you. Like, it's not optimal for your performance. And I think that is when, I mean, I begged you for a meal plan because I just didn't want to think anymore. I think I just got promoted at work, hadn't I? And I was so overwhelmed with trying to fit everything in. But it just took out the thinking. And I could also meal prep so easy when you're eating the same thing every single day. You know exactly how much to buy. You know, like, it's really more efficient for me to be on a meal plan for the last, I was on it for quite a long time, actually, because I begged you.
The other thing to remember is that when we're talking about competing, is you're an athlete. It's a sport. So I would argue, if you cannot follow a meal plan for 4 weeks, this is not the sport for you. Like, go and find a sport where you can eat whatever the hell you want to eat. Do you know what I mean? I would just say that it's also about, like, if you break it down into its simplest term, what's the goal when you get on stage? To step on stage with minimal body fat, most muscle mass, put really simply, right? So actually it does matter that your food's got the right nutrients so that you train well, because your training is going to be key in you maintaining muscle mass and having a certain look on the stage. Like, again, the first half of your prep, when you got a bit more body fat to run off of, you got a bit more steam, like, it doesn't matter. The key thing there is just getting you to adhere to the diet whilst you get used to it. From 4 weeks out, really, really all about fueling that performance as an athlete so that you can bring your best on stage. But again, it's, for me, it's the key that clients are educated enough so that if Tesco does, like, I heard horror stories from clients before about their coaches telling them they had to have a specific brand of lean bacon from M&S. So this poor girl went round to 4 different Marks and Spencers because she didn't realise that she could have just, you know, had some turkey rashers from Tesco. That, you know, it's making sure that there's no stress in that sense. People are educated enough to make those smart decisions. Or not go, oh crap, M&S ain't got the bacon. Oh well, I'll get a packet of Percy Pigs instead. Then I might as well give up. Do you know what?
One of my friends didn't want her coach to have access to her MyFitnessPal because she didn't want her to see what she'd been eating. And it's like, if you're going to pay this person to prep you, surely they're the expert. And they need to know what you're eating so that you can get some guidance and some education. But I suppose a lot of competitors actually don't want to learn that. They just want to follow ABCD, get on stage and do it. And I mean, that's their prerogative, right? But myself especially, I want to understand, why am I doing this? You know, like how does that affect me? You know, I want to learn as much as possible. I mean, the ultimate goal is to not need a coach at the end for that stuff. I need a coach to just keep me full, to be honest, because I can lean up easily. Anybody can really diet. You can starve yourself, right? It's not that difficult. It's knowing how to, as you said, maintain the muscle mass, like look healthy, feel healthy. I mean, I felt like death in some of my preps, like my body was shutting down. You need to be able to go to someone and say, like, this is how I feel. Like, is there something we can do that can change how I feel but still get the same result that we need? You know, I can't do that myself. But yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends that don't want to obsess over the details for some of the reason. And one of the girls watching now, she gets a meal plan from her coach, but she doesn't work out the calories. Whereas when you sent me my meal plan, I put it straight into my Fitness Pal to see what my macros were. But you know, because I just want to know. Because I want all that data for me as well. I want to know, how does my body react to X, Y, Z? I remember when in the first prep that we did, and you said to me to watch out for like what different carbs, how they made me look. And I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to do that. Like, I just eat carbs and I get veiny. You know, that's it. But actually, the more experienced I get and the more I'm paying attention, the more you can see that different carb sources do have different effect on you. I'm in that disabled toilet at work, half naked, about 3 times a day. to see what I look like after I've eaten.
I was saying this back the day. It's like, it's never point in your life where you look at your abs in the mirror. It does not matter in the slightest till you step on stage at show day. But like, literally, I would go to Costa Coffee and be like, oh, they're still there.
I can't believe that's my body sometimes, because you look different every time, right? As well, that's the goal. And I just can't believe it. I mean, I saw that first ab vein so much earlier than usual, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to look absolutely disgusting by the end of this prep, because my body was just reacting so differently this time. Do you find that with everyone else? Like, every prep is different? Because everyone always said that to me, and I just thought, how can that be true? But actually, for me, it has been true. And this one that we just did together, I mean, oh my God, the fat fell off, didn't it? Like, I don't quite understand why.
The thing is, I think some of it is to do with how well recovered you are from your last show. Like, the thing is, people that try and go into diet after diet after diet, or they're going into a diet because they've binged a bit hard for 6 weeks of an off season and actually not their body fully back, and you know, recovery can take 12 months sometimes hormonally.
I tell you what, I don't think I looked normal. I was so like roller coaster up and down. We competed the end of October, and probably March was when my body stabilized, and then I started to look the way I look. But how many months? That's 4 months.
Well, I had it so obviously I competed in September. January started dieting, and I just found it really hard. Like, and I don't find dieting hard, but I just felt terrible. I felt like I'd gone straight back into balls deep 4 weeks out, and 4 weeks out. The reason I wanted to diet is because I'd gone in a bit hard on the food and drink at Christmas. And in the end, I sacked it off and then started dieting at the start of lockdown. It's flying off now. Like, I'm not doing anything any different. Just
well rested.
Physically, mentally, everything, you have to be ready to do it. And I think sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves to diet at a time when actually they should be putting that emphasis and energy into just accepting the way they look, so that they can get where they want to be later on.
I think it's easier for me because I've got quite a good body image of like, I like my body. Oh my God. I like my body normally. I actually don't like what it looks like when I'm lean, because it's a bit grotesque. You know, I'm masters and we do look different when we're lean. We are so vascular and so grainy and just ugh. But I prefer myself maybe like 8 weeks out. So don't get me wrong, I like to have dieted down a little bit so I can see more of my delts and have a few lines here and there. But I like having water under my skin and looking healthy and looking photo shoot ready, I suppose. Because in the off season, I also do go a bit ham on the Christmas food and drinks. But as I said, the more muscle I carry, just the more athletic I look. And I feel like I look leaner at a higher body fat now because I've got higher muscle mass as well. And that's just patience, you know, that just takes years of training.
Yeah.
And I was so impatient at the start, you know, I just wanted to do it now. I wanted to look like that now. And I was so frustrated, but I just kept chipping away at the training, you know, and then all of a sudden it's all coming together. And I'm already starting to think about, like, imagine what you're going to look like in 18 months time. And I'm not going to have to diet as hard if I choose to compete, or even just for a lifestyle event. I won't have to diet so hard as I did last season, because last season was a grinder for me.
Thing as well, like when people compare themselves, like I used to do it when I first started competing, and I'd be like, oh, this person looks really good in their off season, I don't look like that. And it's like, you can't compare a seasoned competitor's off season to your first season.
You
like,
also can't compare people's Instagram posts to what they look like in real life, because sometimes I go to events and I see the person from Instagram in real life and I don't even bloody recognize them, because we're all popping a hip and twisting and breaking our back and sucking in, and you can't walk around like that. And even my pictures, I look at them sometimes and I think, you're a bloody fraud, and then I upload it immediately. Because it's like, my bum's not that big, they don't know that. Woo, hump day. But you just can't, can you? Like, and people edit their photos as well. I know that we don't, but there are people that edit their selfies even. Might just stop it. But he just wants to get on my lap. It's so annoying. He's so needy. There we go. Actually, someone did say, like, why does Martina get cheesecake for her carb up when they don't? Obviously, they're not with you. Don't worry. I suppose, do you want to talk about my carb up?
Well, you take a lot of food to fill out and a lot of calories to fill out as well. And we'd already played around with it with refeeds. Like, we knew you were, it wasn't like we were just suddenly slamming in a cheesecake off the hook. That you digest it well. We knew that you looked good at it. You take a lot of calories. I think it's
also the first day of my carb up that I do anything a bit, we would say dirtier, but anything a bit less single food.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes actually that I see, and this is why, by the way, I have my coach, because he is the master of peaking. Like, he just, bam, he's magic. But he gets this as well. I think one of the common things that I see with coaches peaking females is they're scared to feed them.
Yeah.
So they'll quite often think that they've spilled or they look watery. And actually it's not, it's that they look flat. And if
what I do know about some competitors is they don't eat all the carbs that their coach has given them, but they tell them they have. Yeah. Because they're scared.
And again, like, why have a coach? Like, you have a coach to take all of that pressure away from yourself, you know, like, just do what they tell you. Like,
and don't ask other people, because I was so before I came to you, my coach before, she gave me X amount of carbs for the night, but I had sent my pictures to my PT as well, who also competes, and he said to me, you've spilled over, you need to stop. And I think I had 100 grams left of carbs, and I messaged her saying, like, oh no, I've spilled over, like, and she was like, eat your fucking carbs. You know, like, no two ways about it. Like, yeah. And I really learned that, obviously I just did what she said and I won. And it was like, if I hadn't listened to him, I might not have won, right? We just don't know what might have happened. But I just need to follow my coach to the T and not listen to anyone else.
Yeah. Thing, you are paying for a coach to take, like, you've got enough to think about on show day. Like, you just want to, like, it's like I had a coach in the past that gave me macros per meal on show day. I don't want to be stood there with my fitness pal and my scales working that out on show day. I want say, right, eat 6 rice cakes now, 2 tablespoons of jack. Like, I don't want to think about it. And that's what I do, isn't it, with you guys? Like, you check in, I see how you're looking, ask how hungry you are. I ask, like,
I don't put a thing in my mouth. And you must have driven you mad those first shows, because it's literally like not putting a thing in my mouth until I've checked, because I didn't know my own body. Whereas by Worlds, you were like, are you all right, mate? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm doing it's fine. I'm starving. Yeah.
yeah, because for as much as a pain in my ass you can be sometimes, you work, like, and the results come every single week. Like,
Yeah.
like Joe can take the mic and I'm not checking in and this, that. But once you've got it in your head, like when we were running up to like British and Worlds last year, it was like, there's no stopping you. Like, I know you had a couple of slip ups and I found out about the bloody Prosecco or tequila.
No tequila. Should I tell everyone? I was on 1,600 calories for the day. It was quite early in my prep. I think it was halfway. I'd done 8 weeks. I was on 1,600 calories. I ate 600 calories for breakfast. And then I Googled how many calories in tequila, and I divided it by 1,000, and I had 13 tequilas that day. And I got sick, obviously. And so I was at negative calories, so it was fine. I still won, mate. I tell you what, though, I'm actually quite bad for that, aren't I? I get halfway through a prep and I'm so sick of everything that I have one big blowout and then I'm ready to go again. But luckily, my body can take that, and we kind of know that I do that. So even when I get ill,
it's like some
break.
Prep in 4 weeks, I want to do the show. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, don't rush. Like, why
Yeah.
the ground unless it's that. And that's the thing, I think, goes back to what I was saying earlier about coaches making sure people have got enough time. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good an athlete you are, you're still a frigging human being as well.
Yeah.
As a breaking point, and there will come a point in the prep, like I've done it in my prep for PCA last year. Did I tell you about the kilo of pick a mix I ate in the middle of the night? Like, tell you about like, you know what I mean?
I also think this is because we had coaches that starved us in the past. So, or we're like team no days off. And it's not a good mentality, really. Obviously, you have to put in the work to do and get ready and be ready. But you also do have to factor in, like, I will always have an extra week in there because I get ill, don't I? Both times I've had to have a week off halfway through prep. You need to factor that in, and possibly injury for some people as well, not being able to train.
I learned that this year before my Tubro show, and I couldn't put any weight through my leg like 2 weeks out. Like that,
I remember
I changed my front pose to the other side because it looked better last minute and just pulled everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that was the first time it really hit home with me. Oh shit, you need to allow time for injuries in a prep as well in case that does come up.
I think that is quite a key thing to mention, actually, how your training plan needs to adapt to your energy level, or you're just going to injure yourself. Like, obviously we still try and sorry, someone just phoned me. We need to smash it and maintain as much muscle as possible. But I actually grow in my preps a little bit sometimes because it's the only time I'm consistent and the only time I'm consistently training. And I get PBs because I'm lighter, so I can actually pull my body weight up. Because I can't do chin-ups in the off-season. Bloody hell, I'm not that strong.
Real moment where I was saying to myself at like boshing out all these pull-ups at one point in my prep, and then I was like, you've lost 8 kilos, Laura, that's what you can do.
Yeah. I'm so strong. Do you know what I made the mistake is I didn't realise half the machines in my gym are in kilos and half are in pounds. I thought I was so strong. And then I realised it's in fucking pounds. And I was just like, okay, great. I'm half as strong as I thought I was.
No, severely.
What other have I got? Do all clients go on a meal plan? Oh, I've had all my questions really. I just think that a lot of people have asked me about tips for food as well, and I just tell them to look at your YouTube and other people as well, because there's some really good hacks. And there's always a lower calorie version of your favorite thing, and it's not going to taste exactly the same, but when you're dieting, it tastes great.
Yeah.
I always take people's recommendations for diet food with a pinch of salt, depending how long they've been dieting. So if they tell me that something tastes nice and they've been dieting for like 10 weeks, I'm like, it tastes shit, doesn't it? Like, you know it does, but they are just desperate for the taste.
Mate, I've made recipes in prep on my website that I've had to take down. It's like, terrible. I can't believe you've embarrassed yourself by telling people this is nice.
Oh, that's so funny. I wanted to ask you about back-to-back shows and back-to-back peak weeks, because I've only done 2 weeks. I actually think it's worse because the first week after your show, you feel like you can eat what you want and you start to look amazing, but lean, but full. But then you've got to get back into a peak week. And I really found that difficult. I felt like if I had back-to-back peak weeks, it would have been easier mentally, because I could have had maybe one off-plan meal after my show and then been straight back into peak week. My mentality wouldn't have been so lax. Like between finals and worlds, I just couldn't stop eating.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd already achieved my goal at the British and the worlds was just a bonus. And maybe if I had not done that, I could have beaten Natalie.
Let it go.
Why do you think I keep buying all this gym kit? I keep seeing her buying gym kit and I'm like,
no trophy again for that, right?
Yeah, do you think that it's ever a good idea? I mean, I know that Helen did back-to-back shows one weekend and she obviously did really well on the second day as well.
Yeah, I think it depends on the experience of the competitor, how together post-show. I would say to anybody that's considering doing back-to-back shows, pick one priority. So that would be my first question if somebody told me they want to do back-to-backs. Okay, but which is the big one? Like, which is the one that we're going for?
Yeah.
And again, I'd always allow a bit of time in between. I think actually going back to back, provided you can keep it in check at that post-show meal, like, yeah, have one.
Yeah.
But there's a big difference. Like, I've had post-show meals where I've just had a burger and gone home, and I've had where it's been like literally a 20-course buffet. Do you know what I mean?
I can't really eat that much after the show because I'm so full of adrenaline and like so drunk that yeah, after British I went for a Chinese and I could hardly eat anything, and obviously that's quite a lot of like picky things that you share. But after Worlds we went and had we had burgers and the bun was actually a donut. I mean, so gross, but I ate quite a lot that day. But I suppose I wasn't as excited because I'd only come second. Because that does really affect how you feel as well, doesn't it? Like I think like every time I've won, I've just been so high emotionally that I'm not hungry.
Yeah. Do you know what, actually? Yeah. The shows that I've won, I've definitely, I mean, I am a self-confessed emotional eater anyway. If I'm sad, I'm tired, I eat. If I'm angry, I eat. Like, I'm not one of these. If I get upset, I can't understand these people that get upset and lose their appetite. I get upset and find Domino's phone number.
Yeah. I saw this meme today that said, I don't know whether I should eat my feelings or spend my feelings today because we're all just online shopping.
Oh my God, that's life now. Honestly, I've got an Amazon addiction, like every day, and it's pointless stuff I'm ordering. Like yesterday's delivery was a shower curtain. Today I got some light bulbs, but it's like I get a little gift every day.
I had this text saying your fitness package will be delivered, and I'm saying to Natalie, like, what have I ordered now? I thought I've got everything, and it turns out it was 2 5-kilo plates that I don't even remember ordering. But yeah, Natalie and I backstage at Worlds, one of the staff gave us a massive slice of cake, and we had peanut M&Ms, and we were literally just pouring them into our mouths. And then she forgets, so she's got to go on for the overall. So she's like all laying on the floor, eating all this chocolate, and they're calling her. And literally the other girls are walking onto the stage where she's like, oh. What would be some like advice if someone came to you and said they've never competed before and they want to compete? What would be the like first few things that you say to them?
I find out their reason for competing, because sometimes people do it because they think they want a goal because they think that's going to make them train and stick to their diet. That's a very And if you can't train and stick to your diet when you're fully fed, you ain't gonna do it when you're just starving hungry as well. So again, like I'd want to find out what shows they're thinking of. Obviously, you've got to check how long someone's been training, if they've got a decent base of muscle mass. Once you've kind of established all of that stuff, then it's just about finding out somebody's like attitude to dieting so you can get them set up. But I think if somebody is looking just for that initial goal and some accountability, I always actually say a great one is to do like a photo shoot or something first. So if it's not actually about the competition element, it's more about the goal to change your body.
Yeah.
You can do that in a photo shoot setting. Like, number one, you don't need to be as lean. Like the time pressure, you can book the shoot when you want, and you know, like show dates are on show dates, but see what you look like lean, get some fat, practice dieting, and then you can, you know, do your shoot without pressure of like adding the competitive element. You don't have to worry about learning posing.
Yeah.
Seeing yourself lean, number one, you can either see improvement areas and go, right, I'm going to do a show, but I've got a really nice lean base to start, you know, a bit of a lean bulk.
Yeah.
Or, oh, look, bang on the money, let's keep this going, and I'm going to do a show. Do you see what I mean? So it's, again, without, or if you decide to leave it a bit longer till you do a show, you already know what the diet kind of feels like, because it is, you can't really explain to someone what you feel like at those levels of body fat.
No. I always try and put people off, because if they still want to do it, then they really dedicate. But it looks so glamorous, right? The sparkly bikini, the hair, the abs, like all girls, they see how quickly we transform and they want those kind of results that quickly. But they don't realize how far we have to go to get those results that quickly. And I mean, do we even sleep? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes no. Like, and it's not, I can think of days where I've got up at say 6:30, I've done an hour's walking. I'm bloody injured, aren't I? So I can't do any more higher intense cardio, so I have to do walking, so it takes ages. But I remember close to the British, where I really wanted to come in lean because I'd seen fucking Natalie on Instagram that I just got up 6:30, I'd walk until 8, 7:30, I'd get ready, I'd go to work 9. At lunchtime, I'd do another 45 minutes walking. After work, I'd go to the gym, I'd train for an hour or two, depending how exhausted I was, how quickly I could get through my session, and then I'd do some more walking. And it was just 24/7 just for a couple of weeks. It was between the London show and finals, because I was really freaking out, because I made the mistake of looking at other people on Instagram.
Yeah, you are a nightmare.
Yeah, I actually didn't do it this year. I don't even know who was meant to be competing at Worlds, and obviously Worlds it's easier to know who's qualified, but I didn't even bother looking, because you just got to stay in your own lane and you've got to tick all your boxes and bring your best and go for it. Look, I'm being asked, where did all that energy come from? I did not have a single iota of energy. I just had this crazy drive and motivation because I wanted to win. I didn't just want to go there and participate. I want to win. And it was my dream to be British champion. I actually didn't think it would happen that year. I was hoping it would happen the following year, because I didn't think I was ready. But obviously the judges liked what they saw. But the energy, it's not actual energy. You feel like you're going to die. Natalie's actually saying she thought she was going to die that prep. She dieted all year as well, from February to October. Thank God, because then she wasted some muscle. Otherwise she might have won. But yeah, the energy doesn't come from actual energy. It comes from your why. Why are you doing this? And like you said, asking the girl why. My why was to win. And that's why I would get up and I'd literally rise like a zombie out of my bed. And sometimes I'd just sleep in my cardio clothes for the next day. I remember one day, I was so tired, I didn't even brush my teeth before bed. I just chewed some chewing gum.
Oh, I've been there.
It's not a glamorous sport and people don't understand that. But for me, the reason I keep going back, it's not just self-improvement, it's the people I've met. You know, the community is so inclusive and you just make the most amazing friends. And you might all have a different backstory, but you all have quite similar values and quite similar like work ethic. And obviously they understand these crazy things that you've had to do to get ready, like not brushing your teeth and using chewing gum. I mean, that is disgusting. But you guys are all like, yeah, done it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you share something that most people have never experienced, and it can really bring you together. And that is what I love about the competing. It's the community.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual show day, I don't enjoy show day because I'm so naked. I've just read naked. Meeting naked to town for the first time is the best.
Oh,
Jamie said. Yeah. I was saying how many people the first time we've talked to them in person, but we've been talking on Instagram, you're literally drying your tan and you're naked. And you're just not looking from anywhere from the chin down. You're just staring in each other's eyes. But yeah, I don't know. I think that people think it's going to be a lot more glamorous than it is. I think that a lot of people are, or for me especially, I'm guilty of it as well. You run away from your real life because prep takes everything, and it's so structured and you can control it. And that is, I love that. If I ever feel a bit down or anxious, I want to be in prep because I don't have time to be down or anxious because I'm working towards this goal. But that's not really the best motivation.
The very strange thing about this sport compared to other ones is that it's basically the equivalent of like Sunday league football, isn't it? But instead of just going and doing your training once a week and playing a match a week, it is 24/7, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end. You miss out on lots of things. You gain lots of things, which is why. Yeah. But the sport is very unique in that sense. That even at a very amateur low level, it's going to consume your life somewhat.
Yeah.
Prep. So I think that's something for people to bear in mind. The other big one for people to bear in mind is, do you have enough muscle to compete?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't realize just how much weight you have to drop for the stage
Yeah.
as well. Because like, who was it I read it on? But you're basically only as lean as your fattest body part. And I think that is putting it, so it's irrelevant if your midsection could look bang on, but if you turn around and your hands are not through yet, like, so it is. I think the difference, like just using myself, is 10, 11 kilos.
10 to 12 kilos, isn't it, generally? And we stayed fairly lean, considering. But yeah, when I tell them I've got probably 10 kilos to lose, because you can't judge it by weight, right? It's roughly, because the judges are looking at you. That's another really key thing, actually. People are so stuck on the scale when, look at me, for the first 6 weeks, my weight just creeps up and then down and then up. And I'm like, I'm not even going to worry about the weight. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And then we look tighter and tighter. But yeah, we lose so much. I think that if you don't have the genetics for it, also a lot of girls don't, and they're just fighting themselves for the whole year trying to get ready for something that it's just not going to work for them.
Yeah.
But that's when I think it's really key for a coach. I will always choose a nutritionist, like, instead of just a bro prep coach that will literally say to me if it's going to work or not. Even just let's get ready for a photo shoot and see what you look like. Yeah. I think it's quite key. We've only got a minute left. So have you got any other pearls of wisdom to impart on our wonderful friends?
8 p.m. in the evening and I'm dieting. I haven't got any.
No, you've got your Diet Coke in a wine glass, so you feel all fancy.
You know what, this is my pearl of wisdom, guys. If you like Diet Coke with strawberry, I told you this on our Zoom call the other night, didn't I? So I did, in the Co-op by me, which is the only place I go now because I refuse to go to the big supermarket, they don't do Diet Coke with strawberry, and that's like one of my favorite things. So the strawberry flavor drops from My Protein, put those in Diet Coke. You're welcome.
There's so many diet hacks, isn't there? Like, I just fill up on sugar-free jelly some days, and then I don't have it for a couple of weeks, but it's always in the fridge just waiting, just in case. And Lodo, I just eat that, even though it's like carpet filler. It fills you up, and it's like, 28 calories or something.
Yeah. Do you know what you can do with Lodo, actually, is if you blend it like in a food processor, and you can make a flour with it, and then you can bake it into other things. So place of like oat flour, like oats for things, you can go for that. Pancakes. Yeah.
Well, we do have a lot of diet hacks, guys, so if you want to see more, you're going to have to follow us both. Alarms going off now. People phoning me, but thank you so much for, oh look, Beth's going to do it. She puts flavor drops in her wine. I'm just going to tell everyone, but thank you so much, Laura.